Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here because tonight, to be honest, there's no other big family or best place on earth to be. And I'd like to address this speech with something that I think is very important. Nowadays, we face different challenges. But the biggest war of our time, it's not military or even political. The biggest war of our time, it's a cultural war. We are facing this tremendous cultural war all across Europe. And when we are facing this cultural war, we have to understand this is not just about the present, it's also about our future and the future of our kids and our families. Yes, we have a war in Ukraine right now. We have the Brussels dictatorship and bureaucracy. We have increasing poverty in the world. But nothing is less important than our identity, our Christian identity that we must defend at all costs. And we have to stand for it, because there will be no second chance to defend our identity. Our identity is being stolen right now. It's being stolen for these leftists and liberals who want to destroy our way of living, the values we believe, our families, and all the world in which we live in. We are under attack. Not only our freedoms and our fundamental rights, but our main values, our Christian identity is at stake and at risk right now. It depends on us to fight for it. That's why it's so important that we have meetings like these we are having here in Hungary today. So, when we try to understand why our identity is being stolen, why this woke culture, these attacks on family, on Christian values, in everything which we believe, we understand why. Because we are having, nowadays, big financial groups that are funding and fundraising these attacks on family, these attacks on Christian values, and these attacks on our freedom. We know who they are. They are the George Soros groups, they are the international big finance and big tech, and they also want to take care of the media to destroy the values in which we believe. So our message here from Budapest must be very clear. They will not succeed. They will not pass. And they will not steal our conservative values from us. We will stand for our conservative values, and all across Europe, they have to hear that we are firmly, and we are very, very firmly decided to stand for our values and for our identity. But that, thank you. But that's not the only problem we face. All this woke culture, it's all also about our children and about the future of our countries. Most of the people here from Europe or from the United States know that our future is at stake right now. Look what happened with children. This woke culture became some kind of mass sexualization of our children. Since the very early stage, the idea of these leftists and liberals, it's to provoke our children, our kids, not to be integrate, not to have fully happiness and developed personalities. They want to make them merchandising for their pervert values and goals. Our children are also under attack today because this leftist culture wants to destroy the education as we know it. This mass sexualization of children is something for which we will pay a high price in the future. And we will have to stand against it as well. There will be no future if we don't protect our children. And some people don't believe that our children are under attack as well, but they are. Nowadays, these leftists and liberal and the globalists, They don't want the children to develop into normal manhood or womanhood. They want to make them merchandising for their proposals. They want to make them like objects, like simple merchandising for ideological and political purposes. Again, the message from Budapest must be that they will not pass and they will not succeed. And we must be firmly defending our children. But our conservative model of life or vision of life must be something else. We support family. And maybe a famous writer said, the cornerstone of all conservatism is the defense of family. And he is right. Maybe one of the most important values of the conservatism polity is to defend families. But why are families under attack nowadays as well? Not because they don't like families like men and women or men and men or what they believe it's family. They hate the concept of family because the normal concept of family, it's the normal identity of our civilization. And that's why they want to destroy it. They hate everything that is part of our traditional values and identity. And that's why they want to destroy it. It's very easy to understand. Look at Hungarian government, for example. It's a tremendous example. Encourage birth rate increase to rise and not to decrease. Support large families. But that's not what they want. They prefer mass immigration to replace the families. And we are fighting, these two giants are fighting right now while we are speaking here, in two different models. One that defends that we should support families, support large families, increase the birth rates. And other view who say we don't need that. We can have mass immigrations to our countries. While we are here, I know that most of our countries, Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, America, most of our countries are now facing tremendous waves of immigration like we never seen before. Here in Hungary, it's a tremendous example of border control, tolerance, and humanity, but not mass immigration. We are not humanists if we say, let them all come in. This is the biggest mistake we can do to our countries and to our homes. The defense, or those who defend mass immigration, are again destroying our value and sacred identity. If we let anybody come in from all the places on earth, from Afghanistan, from Syria, from Libya, from Morocco, everywhere, soon we will not be a house or a continent. We will be a platform where everybody can come and go, but we cannot be called home. And this is our continent. This is the continent for which our fathers fight. This is the continent for which our grandfathers fought. So we have two chances. Say, come all, and God bless mass immigration. Or give them the message that we have to give them from Budapest. That we will protect our continent. And we will protect our identity. And we will protect our home. Because this is our home. It's not an Islamic home. It's Europe home. And it's Christian home. And it's our values home. Last year, in European Union, we had the high-level haul, the record of illegal immigrants. Last year, the European Union was at its higher level of illegal immigration, and also at asylum. We are facing a big threat to our future. Defending borders, it's not racism or xenophobia. It's protecting our home, this fantastic continent called Europe. You know, I thought a lot before addressing you with these examples. But a couple of weeks ago, in the last day of Ramadan, I was traveling into Lisbon, and I passed to one of his historical streets. On my left side, thousands, literally thousands of people with Islamic clothes were occupying all the street and were praying in Islamic songs and Islamic prayers. And when I looked at it, it reminds me of what we have to do if we want to secure the future of our continent. Yes, we must be tolerant and we must be humane for those who need our help. We have to, and there's no doubt on that. We are Christians. And it was Jesus who said, never forget the foreigner. But one thing is not forgetting the foreigner. Other thing is left or permit or allow that the foreigners become majority in our countries and in our continent. My friends, if one day we are a minority and not the majority of the people, our identity will not be facing a threat at that moment. Our identity has been definitively stolen, destroyed, and humiliated. We can have immigration, but we cannot let all this mass immigration destroying Europe. And especially when we are defending the identity, our sacred identity and the values that we defend. I don't want my kids, I don't want my children, I don't want my grandchildren or my brother or my sister, I don't want them in the future to limit the rights of women or to make children to get married at 14 or 13 or saying that we cannot go to churches or having crosses on the schools because they will be offended. I don't want a continent like that. I want a continent tolerant, humane, but that never forget that historically, morally, we are a Christian continent and we are a conservative country. We need to defend that conservative continent. So it's out of doubt that we are facing the fights of our times. For some of us, leaders of parties, of governments, of coalitions, it's the fight of our lives. One Spanish politician said, fighting the woke culture is probably the fight of our lives. Usually the Portuguese don't agree with Spanish. But this time, we can agree that this is the fight of our lives. And sometimes I know it's very hard and very difficult because we see that we are losing on media. We are losing on intellectual circles. We are losing on universities. We are losing on schools. We are losing on newspapers. We are losing on the streets. And we say, how can we fight this? They have more money. They have more people. They mobilize. They have all this George Soros money funding and fundraising their movements. Can we win? Are we able to win? Europe is changing. In Portugal, in Spain, in France, in Netherlands, in Belgium, in Hungary, in all the Eastern Europe, Europe is changing. We are not sleeping anymore. We are now decided to fight this woke culture and the attacks on our identity. So let's keep this fight. Let's keep this identity. And even if we are less or if we are weaker, let's fight like if we were stronger or if we were more powerful than them. In one of the most letters, St. Paul said, if God is for us, who can be against us? And we should never forget that. If God is with us and for us, no one can be against us. No one can be against us. This letter of St. Paul should remind us all of our duty to this continent. We are not only citizens of this country and of this continent. We have not only rights, we have duties. And our duty is preserve, is defend our values and our identity. And if they want to go to battle, we go to battle against them. Because we fight for our home, we fight for our kids, and we fight for our identity. Thank you very much.